All right, we're back here with episode 25 of the GameFi Rundown. It's been a pretty fun week so far. It's been a pretty fun day. This morning I woke up nice and early for a town hall. We had people trying to get voted off of council. We had a lot of things going on this week. So we got some fun stuff to talk about. But Jimbo, welcome back. How you doing today?
Great, fantastic, amazing.
Doing great. You ready to get into it? Which segment here do you think is going to be the funnest one to talk about?
I think the roadmap update is going to be the most interesting.
Okay, well, you know what? We're gonna start with the first one. So Illuvium Beyond Wave 2. We have a date now. The date is, so if this is coming out on Saturday, it'll be in 3 or 4 days, right? I don't know for other people's time. If you're in the East Coast of the United States, is August 15th at, I didn't even write this down, 6 p.m. Does that sound about right?
This is creeped up on me. I was not expecting that. I still need to make a video on it,
Yeah,
but
so-
yeah, I think that's right.
Okay, so actually, you know what? This is what I figured out. The alpha sale is going to go for 24 hours.
Mhm.
The extended sale, or whatever they call it, it actually starts 2 hours before the leaderboard reset for the day. So if you're on that top 100 or fighting for that top 100 and you want to make sure you get into it and you want to use your money efficiently, you're going to want to wait till the extended sale. But then you have 2 hours to open up as many discs as you can, fill it into your album to get into that top 100. So that's going to be, I'm going to make sure I'm available for that time because that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to open a ton of discs in that first hour just to rack up my points, make sure I'm in that leaderboard. But yeah, that's coming real soon. How do you think this sale's gonna go? Like it's different this time. It's the 24 hours versus 72 hours.
Yeah, I think we don't want to really hard focus on how many like alpha discs are going to be sold because let's be honest, it is not going to be nearly as good as the first sale. I think the first sale went fine. I mean, I think the alphas were a little overpriced. Then we decided that we don't want it to be for Web 3. We want it to be for Web 2 as well. And then now we have this weird mix instead of like fully committing to one or the other. I think that it will go good for my expectations. Like I could definitely see it being surprisingly good for the circumstances, if that makes any sense. But we're not going to reach, I don't think we'll come close to the numbers we had in Wave 1.
Yeah.
Even though the Illuvitars themselves are way cooler in this set. I will say that.
No, I'm in the same boat here. I think it will be good. Really, no matter how good it is, like we're going to get a ton of people in the Discord and on Twitter saying how it was a fail. One interesting take that I saw was from Zeptile, he put on Twitter, saying that like basically predicting that Kieran's going to come out and say there was some kind of technical error and they need to like extend the sale or something like that. I thought that was kind of like funny because I don't know, when these things happen so often, it does get you thinking like, oh, another technical error? Like what happened this time? Do you think it's going to be a smooth 24 hours or do you think something's going to happen?
I'd say there's about like a 90% chance nothing happens, but there's always that chance. I think one thing I do like about the Illuvium team is that when they mess up, usually they don't make the same mistake twice. I mean, I know that like they've had that problem with the roadmap in the past, but I think that excluding that, I think they do improve upon their failures pretty well consistently recently.
This is slightly different though. It's not the same copy of the alpha cell last time. It's slightly different. So honestly, not for the reasons that, not for some conspiracy theory going on here, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some other hiccup during this 24 hours, but I'm hopeful that we get through it. But you did mention roadmap, so let's move on to the roadmap here. I'll pull it up on screen, but the key thing here is that things haven't changed. We've been so used to over the past, 2.5 years that every time there's an update, things get pushed back. Open betas got pushed back so many times. Yep. The big thing that stands out to me is that we got this refreshed roadmap. It's pretty much the same thing as far as I can tell, but it still says open world is coming in open beta, open world in Q4. That excites me. What do you think about this?
I think we'll hit all of our targets. One thing that they did change, which I'm actually kind of bummed about, is Arena Mobile got pushed back from Q2 2024 to Q4 2024, which I know that probably doesn't seem like a big deal, but there's a ton of potential for a lot of players to come in and join the Illuvium family through the mobile arena. So that's a little unfortunate, but it looks like Illuvium Overworld and Arena PB3 is still set up for Q3, which I do think will hit. Illuvium Beyond Wave 2, obviously we're going to hit that in a couple days. And then as far as Q4, everything's the same, but we'll have to see how all of that pans out. That is a pretty daunting task for the Illuvium team to accomplish, but I think they can do it. We'll see what happens, though.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little disappointed with the mobile too. I've always talked about it. I'm a big mobile guy. It would be great to just pull it out of my phone. Very rarely do you see Illuvium move updates, but I would like to see that be, maybe Q3 of next year. But the other thing that I like to think about here is that the PvP in Q3, we've only got 6 weeks left of Q3, right? Till we're in Q4. So it should be coming sooner than later, even if it's the last possible day.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We might be only 6 weeks away. And I know for us, we're in summer here. Summer flies by compared to, when we get into the colder weather. So I feel like these next 4 to 6 weeks are going to go by, pretty quick for me. I'm excited about that. But let's move on here.
I'm pumped.
Yeah. I can't wait for that. All right, so the gaming bull market. So I want to pull up a tweet from Kieran here.
Our boy Kieran.
Our boy Kieran. So it doesn't take much for him to hype some people up. He made this very short tweet. I'll read it real quick. 3 reasons why the next gaming run is going to hit differently. Fun games that you can recommend to a normie without feeling like an idiot. So that makes sense. Barrier of entry has gone from $600 to $0. He's obviously referring to Axie Infinity. It's funny that he said 600 because when I got into Axie Infinity pretty early, and I'm pretty sure it cost me about $600 to get in. At one point, it was actually a lot more than that.
Oh yeah, I was looking into it, and it was like when I first learned about Axie, it was not $600. It was like $1,500.
Oh yeah. It got ridiculous. Like at one point, I was just like bragging to people. I was like, "Yo, I got my first team for 600." Like now it costs you, $1,500 or $2,000. Pretty crazy.
Ridiculous.
And his third reason is that no wallet required. And we know that Illuvium is having a self-custody, or not a self, well, they're having a self-custody route and a custodial route. But yeah, so we're going to get into this next bull market, and it's not going to be like trying to convince your friends, oh, play this little mini game that with for Axie Infinity, little monsters run around. You can earn some real crypto. But first make this wallet and don't worry about gas fees and all that. Like, it's going to be a lot different when this time we can just say, look at this cool game, Illuvium. It's like, you remember Pokemon? Illuvium, this is for like adults. This is cool here. Jump right on. Oh, you don't need to make a wallet right away. Don't worry about that. Just start playing. When you're ready, you can, make your own wallet and then, transfer your stuff to it. Like, it really is going to be different. And when you see how those, just like the coins in the games just exploded, like, how do you see this one going? This next bull market, a year and a half from now? Like, is it going to be better than last time? Is it going to be toned down? Like, I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see, because I think if we learned anything from the last bull run, I think it's that those crazy price swings aren't really sustainable. So I do think it's going to be toned down, but I think it's going to have a much larger impact, which to me is more important. Because when you see games like Illuvium, it's like, it's not going to be super expensive, right? I would say like maybe $500 a deck at most, possibly. I mean, don't quote me on that, but even that is like, you show your friend, you're like, you remember your Magic the Gathering deck that you have like thousands in that. Why can't you spend a little bit on this deck and play it in game? If you don't like it, it's way easier to sell back than your Magic cards. You know what I mean? So, and not only that, more importantly, there will be free decks that you can use and try out. So it's like, you don't want to spend any money? Who cares? You don't have to. You can play for free.
You can figure out if you like this game before spending a dime on it.
Exactly. And then you have other games like Sparkball, which you literally don't have to pay any money for. The only thing different is like the NFTs are the skins inside of that game. So it's like, this is barely even a Web3 game. It's just a quality of life change. You know what I mean? So people are going to be playing all these incredibly fun games, and they won't even. I think there might be a possibility that some of these people don't even know that they're playing a Web3 game.
Yeah, and like you said, Spark Ball or whatever. The other game I'm sort of into right now is Mavia, and they're gonna have a free-to-play version. So you could just, hop on your phone, download this, and yeah, like you said, not even know you're playing a Web3 game. And then when you learn about it, you're kind of reverse rug pulled, as Kieran would say. You find out, oh, look it, I've actually been accumulating something that has real value. And I'm really excited for more games to be in that realm than just Illuvium, because I mentioned this before. If there are, a lot of, let's say, 20 quality games that you can choose out of, people are going to get pulled in from every direction. And once they're in, they're going to start looking at the other games in this space. And I have a funny feeling a lot of those eyes are going to end up on Illuvium, which is good for all of us Illuvium bulls.
I agree.
As for like the coins, like you said, I think the coins are going to be a little toned down compared to last bull market, because people, at least the people who are already here now, know what to expect. Even like ILV, I hate to get into predictions because those are so hard, but
yeah,
I don't think we're going to get to $2,000 a coin and then jump to $10,000 a coin. I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe only get back to 2,000 or maybe we only get back to 1,000, because there's a lot more in circulation. But either way, I think the player base, the people in the community, I think that will grow exponentially. The coins themselves, who knows? This is one I really want to get more your take on this, because I'm part of the strategy sub council that is coming up with these different fuel models. I've already made a separate video on my channel about the model I have for balancing. There was the town hall this morning that by the time you're watching this should be out on the Illuvium Plus channel, I believe. So I do recommend going to watch that. Started off with Vedimor's model versus Aaron's model, or what has always been planned, basically. A little spoiler for you, by the end of the video, even Vedimor kind of like, waved the white flag. He at the end of the video, he was just like, I can see it's not going to be mine getting through. It's going to be Aaron's getting through. So then we got to build on top of Aaron's model to make it better, which I completely agree with. I think after having the discussions in the Discord, I don't think Vedimor's was going to get through. There are different adaptations that we can have onto Aaron's model. I have one of those adaptations of balancing. I know you're in the Discord all the time. You've been paying attention to these fuel models. Like, what are your thoughts?
I did personally prefer Vedimor's over like the free market kind of stuff. I guess that's an unpopular opinion, but I'm not like a black or white guy on this. It's fine if we use Aaron's. I just preferred Vedimor's. So it's like my only concern, and I think that we will be able to control this, but I'm just like terrified of an Axie situation where the price gets like jacked up 1,000% in like a month or 2 months, and this is just not sustainable. New players are going to get wrecked, and I would rather new players in the Illuvium space enjoy themselves than me make extra money by screwing over these people who don't know any better. That would really, really suck, because if we can keep these people long term, we're all going to win more anyways. So yeah, my only concern is the price going too high, people getting wrecked. That's what I want to completely avoid. I think Vedimor's did a perfect job at that. But I don't think Aaron's or even yours would, if we implement them correctly, would do that. It's just I don't have much of a risk tolerance personally when it comes to stuff like that, because I know how good this game can be.
Well, when it comes to Vedimor's model, there really wasn't any risk of overworld prices going up, because it was just a fixed price. I mean, this goes for you and anyone who's listening who really liked Vedimor's model. Assuming Vedimor's doesn't get through and Aaron's gets through, my balancing system built on top of Aaron's model is going to be the next best one, the next closest one to what Vedimor had, in the sense that it's going to keep the volatility a lot lower. So every month, as the demand is going up and the price is going up, we'll start automatically producing more fuel. So you increase the supply while the demand is going up, and that can stable the prices a little bit. So if you liked Vedimor's model, but it's not getting through, I would encourage you to take a look at what I have going on. It looks like Aaron's model is going to have to get passed first, and then my model will end up being an ICCP that could get voted on to be integrated with his model. But I mean, as for the town hall, I think it went well. Aaron, as you could imagine, had some very strong points. Nothing bad to say about Vedimor, but when you go up in a debate against Aaron it's gonna be tough to come out on top.
Yeah. I mean, especially as like one of the co-founders, you kind of lost from the beginning. Let's be honest.
And not only is he just super smart, like you said, like he's a co-founder, so he gets that automatic respect just because of his role. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this plays out. Again, nothing's set in stone yet. One of these needs to get passed. There'll be new adaptations built on top of that. But we do need to start figuring this stuff out pretty soon. If we're still looking at maybe the end of Q4 here, we need a model in place so that the devs can build it out. You know, we can't be waiting too much longer. So we should know how this fuel is going to work. I'd say in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we have a really good understanding how it works. All right, so one more thing that I was just thinking that we had discussed a little bit in the strategy subcouncil, and I hadn't brought it up here because it hadn't really been put out there yet. But since Aaron did mention this in the town hall, what it is that he mentioned that we would probably have to start basically open beta for Illuvium 0 before the launch of open beta for the game. Because if we just start both at the same time, there's going to be no fuel to start the game. You know, you're going to be getting a very small amount of fuel. You're going to need it to build up your structures, to keep it going. It's going to be weeks before there's actually fuel in the system for the overworld players to use. So although he didn't set a date or a time frame, I mean, I might be part of that decision when that comes. And I really can't say whether it's going to be a few days, a week, a month, 2 months, but it looks like Illuvium 0 will get basically onto the blockchain before open beta. You won't be able to sell your fuel, obviously, because there's not going to be any buyers yet, but you'll be able to start accumulating some fuel before open beta starts, which I think is going to be very important. It could be a disaster if we started at the same time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So everybody who's been, you know, just accumulating these 15 blueprints, thinking like, oh, I'm not going to get anything until open beta of the main game. I think it's going to come a little sooner for people. And whenever that gets through and it's an official announcement, I think the current landowners are going to be, you know, pretty excited about that one. Yeah. So had to throw this segment in here, you know, for the content. But if you haven't been paying attention in the Discord, these debates get pretty heated sometimes, especially between strong personalities. So Vedamore is in there arguing his points for his fuel model, and then there are people who don't agree with his model. I'm one of those people. I didn't agree with his model at all. But sometimes you go back and forth, people start getting frustrated, start attacking each other on a personal level rather than, you know, what they're presenting there. And Vedamore's another one of those strong personalities, if you know who he is. So someone in the Discord decided, I'm gonna bring this up as a vote of no confidence for Vedamore. Submitted it. I don't even know exactly how that went behind the scenes, but all of a sudden I hear that it's been filed, essentially a vote of no confidence for Vedamore. Initially, I was just like, oh, this is kind of ridiculous. Like I've heard it can happen, but like someone actually did this, and I went and checked it out. A couple responses from Vedamore didn't help his case, but this led to it got much bigger than I thought it would. There was, I don't know, 70, 80 votes up and down. There was discussion all day for at least 24 hours. But what's your take on the whole situation there?
Gosh, waste of time, TLDR. When we should have been focusing more on the fuel. I don't think Vedamore did anything to like need a vote of no confidence, though I don't think he helped his case by replying in the manner that he did. Yeah, I just don't. I had to read through like an hour and a half of messages just so I like was sure that I got everybody's side as the professional community council member that I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just sucks. Like both parties were in the wrong somewhat, but you know, I just don't think it warranted a vote of no confidence, and it just felt it was definitely not intended to be just a distraction. He definitely felt like he was in the right to bring up a VONC.
Yeah.
But it did to me feel like just a distraction from something that was really important that was going on.
Yeah. And it's tough not to have any sort of like bias in the situation. Like I watched a lot of that back and forth between, I don't even know what, ZZ something, whoever
ZZ
filed it, and Vedamore. And like I agreed to a lot of what ZZ, you know, had to say. But watching all of it, I was just like, it didn't really warrant a vote of no confidence. Even the actual reason why he started the vote of no confidence really came back to be kind of like a nothing burger there.
Yeah,
Because
that was my thing.
yeah, and even I was looking at it first, being like the text that Aaron put out, it did look different than what he had
Hmm.
presented to us internally. So even I'm looking at that, being like, something just doesn't look right here. But I think the guy who put it in ended up closing it out himself. I think he realized that it really was nothing. Maybe it was more emotions that got in the way. In the end, like it was actually a little scary for me to how easy it was to
Hmm.
just have a vote of no confidence. And people were already talking like, if it gets to 50 votes, we'll have a council vote to whether he gets voted off or not. And I was just like, wow, that almost seemed too easy. And I think that's actually going to be a good learning experience. We're gonna, especially the strategy sub council, we're responsible for making changes and adaptations to governance. And we saw how something would actually play out because it's never played out before. And then maybe there's going to be some adjustments to be made. Who knows? But I mean, in the end, it's not ongoing anymore. Vedimore's not getting kicked out. He is passionate about the game. I think that's clear. He
Yep.
wants what he thinks is best for the game, even
Yep.
if I don't agree with it or anyone else doesn't agree with it. I don't think you can say he's not passionate about it. It just comes down to we see the future of Illuvium in a different way.
Yeah. One thing I would like to
Yeah,
add as well is, the vote of no confidence, all they need is 50% to get them off. When in reality, to get on, you don't even need close to that percentage of a vote. So I think that bar needs, personally, from my perspective, I really do think that bar needs to be raised. I think that's way, way too low because like you can get a guy in that only has 15-20% of the vote, but they get in on council. Does do those voters not get to have a say in that as well because they voted them and they didn't need that 50%? So maybe the bar should be raised. Otherwise,
yeah,
why not just give all of these other people even more voting power? You know what? Do you understand the argument I'm trying to
yeah.
make? I just don't. I think that's a way too low a percentage for me
Yeah,
personally.
another thing that we saw come up was, someone start saying like, "Oh, hey, if Vedimore gets knocked out, the next person gets bumped in," which was Josh dot eth or dot eth or whatever. So some
Yep.
people are just saying like, "Oh, if we get Vedimore out, we'll get Josh in here," and I don't think that's a good way to look at it either. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
I always thought Josh dot eth would be a great addition to the strategy sub council, but it's not good to start thinking like, all right, we just need to, vote someone out of here to get the next person in who didn't get the votes originally.
Yeah, you should
So
have
I
voted
think,
from them to begin with. Respect
yeah,
the voters that voted in that council member in the way that you
exactly,
don't want to
exactly.
use that kind of thinking.
So I'm almost certain there's going to be some changes that come out of this, but in the end, everything is fine now. No one's going anywhere, and we're continuing on with everything that we need to do in the council.
Yes, sir.
You know, so much drama, huh?
It is what it is, man. Who
Yeah,
gives a shit? We'll get there one day. We're all
we
gonna
will.
make it.
Over under. I have 3 topics here, and I just want to present these, and then we'll kind of just talk about if we think it's going to be more or less. So we'll get right into it. So 1 month into open beta, after kind of prices settle a little bit, uh, let's assume that we're in a free market model. Where do you think the cost of a stage 1 travel sits? It could really start anywhere with supply and demand. I'm going to say, $3. Does the demand price it over $3 after that 1 month? Or has it already settled? Is it below $3? Where do you think it sits?
We also have to take into account like how land produces fuel and how much you need to travel through to those stages. I don't if the so the council members continuously state they want decks to be around 150 to $200. If an overworld stage 3 run only costs $3, I don't see that happening. I definitely think it's over that.
$3 is over it, or do you think it's going to be over $3?
I think it's gonna be over $3 for sure.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but I definitely think it'll be more than that.
For a stage 1 run, I mean, that's what I was leaning towards too. I think it'll end up being over $3. And I think, because we're saying 1 month into open beta, but I don't think things are going to settle quite that quick. Because most land, if not all land, is not even going to be to full maturity by that 1 month. So the fuel that's being produced isn't even going to be at maturity at that level. So I think as we go on to month 2 and 3, I think we'll see the price settle down a little bit. But I say in that first month, or by the end of that first month, we're still up basically higher than we really should be. So if we kind of go into this, say the council is thinking like, all right, we want that stage 1 to be around $1, but it's the free market that prices it. I think we are going to be over that $3 for a little bit. And then I think we'll settle down in months like 3 and 4. And then based on the timing of like the Bitcoin halving and all that, things are going to start getting bullish. So then I think we peak back up by then. So I'm actually going to say like month 3 and 4, I think are going to probably be the lowest prices you see for a while, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that goes into it, but like in a perfect world, I think your logic makes sense for sure.
Yeah. So this next one, the updated roadmap still says Q4 for open beta, but I'm going to say December 31st, the last day of Q4 of 2023, before or after do we get open beta? Do we actually get it in Q4 is what I'm saying.
I want to hear your answer first.
I'll go first. This is a tough one. I have a funny feeling, just like if you've been here for the past 9 months and be involved in Illuvium 0. Illuvium 0 was supposed to come out in Q4 of last year, and it ended up getting a date of, I believe, January 4th or maybe January 6th or something like that. I could see the same thing kind of happening. I could see us being so close in December to just being like, let's get through the holidays and launch after. So I'm going to say after. My prediction, but not far after. I think it's going to end up being like first week in January. So I'm going to say after on this. What do you think? Before or after? You going with the roadmap that Kieran just presented again, or do you think not quite?
I think it's going to be late January. And
late January, okay.
Late January or early February, and I don't think anybody's going to care. Cuz like we're at the finish line. Who gives a shit if we have to wait 1 extra month? Let's be honest. You know what I mean? This isn't like back in the day when we were waiting for PB2 and for months and months. Like we know the finish line is in sight. So I really don't think it'll affect many people's like morale, like as long as we get the game within a month. But yeah, I would love to be proven wrong. That makes me even more bullish about the Illuvium team. And I do think they can accomplish that. I want to be pleasantly surprised. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think actually what's more important is getting an actual launch date in December. If say mid-December, December 15th comes out, Illuvium does an official announcement that says January 22nd is our launch day. I don't think too many people are going to be upset about it.
Yeah.
They're going to say, okay, we have an official date. It's not, oh, it's coming next month. This is the official date. I think people are going to be fine with it.
Yeah.
So something like that wouldn't surprise me. The big problem would be if we get through December and either have an official delay or not have any announcement. That's where the big problems come.
I actually just cringed at that thought. That's not good. Like if we have to wait till March, that's a problem.
It is. I agree. It would be a big problem. But I do think something would have to go wrong for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and as long as they're transparent about that, if something actually does go wrong and they're transparent, I would be more lenient towards that. If it's like a very understandable problem that they weren't expecting, and it's like, guys, we're sorry, here's the information. And as long as they're transparent, people are still gonna be pissed. But people will be more lenient if you admit your faults and then produce, or that's what I'm looking for. If you come up with something good.
Yeah. I mean, no one would ever want this, but like, say there was some kind of hack again, like there was with SILV2. Something like that might warrant a delay. But, barring any of those, like basically a black swan event, I think we're going to be in that Q4, or like we're predicting maybe very soon after, maybe January. Okay, so here's the third one I wanted to bring up. We have the Wave 2 Illuvitar sale next week, really in a few days on Tuesday. We have 24 hours of the Alpha sale. Last sale was the first one, had a lot of hype. There was 72 hours to buy. It was a max of 20K mega discs. There is no max for this one. So technically we could sell more than 20K mega discs. I believe they are slightly cheaper this time around, even though Alpha Megas are similar to the last price. But my number for you is 10,000. We're going to be over or under 10,000 Alpha Mega discs sold.
I think under. I think we hit around 5,000-6,000. I think Wave 3, we definitely have the potential to do way more than 10,000. But I think just under the circumstances and what we're seeing with the markets, I think 5,000 to 6,000 is not only a good number, but would be impressive with the circumstances we are under right now.
I wish I had a different opinion because we've agreed on everything so far. But yeah, I don't think we even hit that 10K. And I've been saying this even before, I think on one of these episodes with Ramfy, I remember talking to him being like, my prediction is that the Wave 2 sale is going to be the lowest selling, basically the weakest set that we have.
Yep.
Some of my reasons before, which I still stand by, is that a lot of people had accumulated a lot of SILV2. Everybody wants that first set. They spend all of their SILV2 in that first set. They're not leaving much room for set 2. I pretty much knew at the time we were going to get set 2 before open beta comes out. So once open beta comes, we have more marketing to the game. We bring in new players, and Wave 3 comes out, and a lot more people are interested in it and getting involved. But I really think if you want some long-term value, again, not financial advice.
I was about to make this point.
Gotta say that. But for me personally, I'm thinking this Wave 2 set, is going to hold some of the best value in the long term.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
because there's gonna be so few of them. Nobody's gonna buy them, dude. Like,
Exactly.
not financial advice. I'm a fucking dumbass. Let's just get that across. I'm not like this genius investor, but I'm just seeing the circumstances. I'm like, I just said I only think 5,000 to 6,000 alpha mega discs are gonna get sold. That if you believe in Illuvium long term, this is a buying opportunity.
Right?
This is crazy bullish.
Right? Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, I spent most of the SIV2 I had. I bought some more since then, so I have some to work with. But I spent a lot more on that first wave than I expected to. I told myself I was gonna go easy on wave 1, so I have more for wave 2. And I was aware that, or at least my thought had always been that wave 2 was gonna probably hold more long-term value. So if I did it, I know a ton of other people are probably going into this wave. Maybe they'll buy a few discs and they're not going to go all out like they did in wave 1. So I'm definitely going to be a participant here in this wave 2. But I'm a little disappointed. We agreed on all 3 of those there, but I think they're pretty good stances. All right, so let's move on to this last segment here, the leak of the week. Always going to do this. End with something a little more fun. I'll start with mine. This isn't even an animation. This is just a nice picture. I'm starting to change my what I think is going to be my favorite alluvial, I guess. I've always been a fan of Malura, and I keep seeing this guy, this sloth. I don't even know his official name yet. But the more I see this guy, I'm just like, this is my dude. You know, like he just looks like stoic but strong, and also, you know, just like chill. You know, I kind of I see myself in this sloth. So I don't know. I
That's
really
weird.
like
That's a weird sentence, but yeah, I see what you're getting at.
Yep. I don't want to come across as like, oh, I'm just this slow moving.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
You know, but like, I don't know. I see myself in him. There's the image of this guy wearing like the sweatshirt, the Illuvium sweatshirt.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That was probably the first time I was just like, oh, I like this guy.
Yeah,
I like
he's got a
how
cool
this guy.
design.
And you know what? When it came to Pokemon growing up, I never liked grass type. I didn't like Ivysaur. I wasn't a big grass type person. I like the psychic stuff and the fire, you know?
Yep.
But
for sure.
For alluvials, I'm leaning towards a lot of these nature type ones. Like I said, Malura, this guy, was it Phosphorus?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All of those seem really cool to me.
Yeah, I have a theory on that too. I think it's the texture on the alluvials are so good that it really makes the nature aspect of them just pop, and it is absolutely beautiful. I mean, the
Yeah.
wood on his hands, the vines creeping through it. He's just a stud,
Yeah. I mean, now that you say
just
that,
like
like
you.
you can do a lot more with nature than you can with a lot of the other types. You know, like
Hmm.
fire. What are you gonna do? More flames,
Yeah,
different shades of red and orange for flames, or like
though
even rock. It's like
they did a good
earth.
job with the moths, though. I think the moths have a good variety. I really enjoy that line in their fire. So
Yeah, it there's a new image for that too. That I'll pull that up real quick. That one looked really cool.
there you go. Right.
Well, this is the image.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw this and I was like, it does look really good.
Yeah, the moths
All
are
right.
absolutely they're like beautiful, but not in like a like feminine way, if that makes sense. It's just like
Yeah,
this guy specifically just hits.
I agree. At first, I thought like this was gonna be one of the lamest ones, but
Same,
it does. It looks badass. They all
for
look
sure.
badass. Like,
Hmm.
you know how in Pokemon there's like the Kakuna and the Metapod and like
Yeah.
the ones that like no one cared about. Like they were clearly just like placeholders. There's really none of those in Illuvium. Every single
Yeah.
one looks badass. Whether it's the stage 1, the stage 2, the stage 3, any tier type, even the tier zeros, they all just look badass.
Yeah, I think the Tiktaalik line hits that like funny, cheesy, kind of silly
Yep.
vibe, but it's not like the this is a throwaway design. You know what I mean? It's just absolutely incredible what they have done with the creatures in this game. Yeah, I sent you a link, but it's just the running. It's like,
Of these two guys?
yeah, it just hit me weird because I'm like, when we play the private beta currently, they're they're adding running animations to all of the alluvials, right? That's what the text said under it, which
Yeah.
made me think it's like, are they supposed to be running in the auto battler? When do they run? When do they walk? How is the movement speed going to affect how the battles play out now? And I'm just left with a lot more questions than answers. Like, why do they need running animations? Is this future proofing? What is going on here? I need to know.
Maybe they're just getting ready to throw these guys in the overworld, and this is them
Maybe.
running away from you.
True, that would be interesting, but I don't know if they're gonna have alluvials in the overworld for open beta. Did they say that it was for sure gonna happen?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure they said it's for sure not going to happen
Oh,
by
okay.
open beta in the
Yeah.
future. I think it's a distant future thing,
Okay.
but I would say a 0% chance that actually we launch that way.
Yeah.
But at some point in the future, that is the plan. But yeah, I
Okay.
mean, maybe they're doing it just for the small little movement on the battle board, but knowing that they're going to already have it in place for whenever they hit the overworld.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Episode 25 in the books. Every 2 weeks, haven't missed an episode. That means that in 2 weeks for this next episode, we're going to be celebrating 1 year of this podcast. Basically, it's kind of crazy to think about it.
Yep.
Even since you joined with me here, like how many episodes have you already been here for? 6, 7, 8,
I think I joined on 20.
20?
I think so. It may have been 19 or 18, but I thought it was 20.
Yeah,
Could
it's
be
been
wrong.
at least 5 episodes.
Yeah.
I was thinking 6 or 7, but like I mean, we're already approaching over 2 months, maybe even 3 months with you in here. It's crazy. Every 2 weeks doing an episode, about to hit a year. When I'm scrolling like my Instagram or something, I have a lot of Alex Harmozy. You see him a lot,
Yeah, I'm subscribed,
and
so
dude, he's one of my favorite guys out there. But like, there's something that I've seen him say. It comes up all the time. It's just like when you feel like quitting or whatever, that's when everybody else quits. So you need to push on beyond that.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna lie, over this year, there's been a couple time frames where I was just like, I'm not really getting more viewers. Is this really worth it? It's been tough. But like, that's what I kept telling myself. This is when people quit. So I'm gonna keep going with it. I know once we get to this open beta and the next bull run, this is gonna pop off, right?
yep.
Right?
It's all gonna be worth it. As I said, we're all gonna make it, bro.
Wag me, right?
Wag
We're
me,
all gonna
brah.
make it.
Yes, sir. Shout out Z's.
Yeah. So as always, make sure you're going to follow Jimbo's channel, Illuvium. He makes content as well. He's on the community sub council, so he's always in the Discord too. You tag him, and I'm sure he's gonna get back to you very quickly. Feel free to tag me as well. Ping me in the Discord. so many channels we're involved in. Like if you don't ping us, we're not going to see it. Feel free to ping us in the Discord, and DMs are open. That's it. Any final words?
No, I'm just proud. I want to let you know I'm proud of you for a full year. That's a pretty cool milestone. So good job, bud.
Thank you. I mean, assuming we get to 2 more weeks, we still got to get to that 26th episode.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. All right. And hopefully we have maybe not so much drama, but a lot to talk about. We'll definitely have the Wave to Illuvitar sale to talk about. And there'll be some other stuff, I'm sure. But that's it. Over and out. Catch you in 2 weeks for episode 26.
See ya.
Later.